Live from Million Monroe Studios in Beverly Hills, California. It's Power Hour. Good morning. Well, as we discussed today about family scenarios, and it is Christmas time and it is family time, let's start off with my own family, with my own children. And yes, I do have a beautiful daughter out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I probably have about 10 of them. No, I'm kidding. But, I do have a couple of daughters out there. And so I wanted to talk about my own experiences as far as being a father and being a daddy and growing up in the 90s and 2000s. In the early 90s, things were glamorous, glorious, glitzy, sparkly, fun, exciting. And, the world was all brand new. Everything was still being created and invented, and a lot of things hadn't been invented yet. Then I fell in love and attempted a couple of relationships and marriages. And, unfortunately, those didn't work out. But I did have a couple of sparkling, beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, amazing daughters. And luckily for my daughters, they are royal family descendants because I have royalty on both sides of my family, which with a combined on both sides of my family makes me one gigantic royal family person. You can have a little bit on the left side of your family, that's fine, little royal blood. Then you can have a little royal blood on your right side of the family, that's fine. But if you have it on both sides, you combine those two and you have one gigantic royal family member, which is what happened with me. And my daughters are the lucky benefactors of that because they are now, for lack of a better word, they are princesses. Absolutely 100%. In fact, they even may be queens. But let's talk about that a little bit later once I get my royal titles reestablished in England and Europe. So, growing up with three children, three lovely, beautiful daughters named Kaylee, Caitlin, and Tori. It was absolutely amazing. There was artistic creativity throughout each and every one of my relationships, and I launched careers within myself and my spouses, and we tried to continue to rocket our career paths up towards stardom and up towards the skies and up towards the moon and up towards the sun. We wanted to launch our careers to rainbows and unicorns and find that pot of gold in the sky so we can buy a big mansion and a big house so we can raise our gigantic family with 10, 15, or 20 kids in it of our own. But unfortunately, as reality would have it, that dream was, it proved to be just child's dream to me, just a kid's dream because it didn't come true. We'll leave you with that thought for right now. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back after these messages. And we're back. Thanks for tuning in to Power Hour with your host, Million Monroe DeClifford Plantagenet. I wanted a big rainbow in the sky with unicorns, and it just didn't happen. At least not yet. I'm not giving up, and I won't give up for another 100 years. That was my goal, and I figured, at the very least, if I reached for the stars and the moon, and if I fell somewhere in between, then that would be great. But, I'm still reaching for the stars and the moon. But, my daughters are all wonderful. One is a rock star in Hollywood, and she unfortunately told me and her mom to kindly F off because she had a few thousand fans, and that's okay. I understand that, my dear daughter, because I did that too. I went through that phase too where I got a few thousand fans and I was like, oh my god, I'm a superstar. I think I'm the top of the world. I'm the best there ever. Well, to be honest, yes, I am the best there ever was and best there ever is, but I quickly got over that as soon as I realized that just a few thousand fans, and I started looking at these other pages that had 100 million fans. I quickly realized that I was really nobody. But, it's cute when you first get that. You're, excited, and you get a small glimpse of what it's like to be a star. I have a few thousand fans in my pocket that really like me. And that's great. That is fantastic, and it is. Now, that teaches you responsibility for your next levels of success, and if you climb that ladder into 3,000, 6,000, 12,000, 15,000, 100,000 fans, you've already prepared yourself because you know what it's like just getting 3,000 fans. You've reached that level of excitement, and then you set yourself back to reality. So, telling your parents to F off, though, is not really a good idea, especially me. And especially your mother. I know that there are those things that kids have to go through. One of my other daughters is an artist, and she is a fantastic painter and drawer. She's very skilled with her hands. And then another one is a beautiful model. She looks like Snow White or Barbie. But, all three of my daughters are absolutely beautiful, and I did my best to give them all that they possibly could. I fought for all three of them in ways that they have no idea I fought for, and unfortunately, some people that had money before I did used it against me. Their stepfathers didn't want me in the picture, and that's a jealousy thing is what it is. And I understand, I am a royal family member, and jealousy does come in play, and, I have to respect that. I don't want to overshadow someone's right to be a parent because I'm no longer in that relationship. So, I did my best. I fought for it. I even fought in the courts for it. The courts favor whoever's in the home. But, being a parent, you can still write letters, you can still send cards, you can still send texts and emails, and you can still post videos for your children. You can still post audio videos for your children, and so they know that you love them, and so that they know that you have never forgotten them, even though they may be busy on their own schedules, or they may have their own ideas of what they think they want to do in their lives. But the bottom line is, you're always a parent. Once a parent, always a parent. It's like my family, my mother and my father. Okay. Somebody told me, well, you're not a kid anymore. Well, that's a lie because I am someone's kid. I am someone's child. I may be 35 years old. I may be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. I'm still someone's child. And you know who that is? That's my mom and dad's. I belong to my mom and dad. And, that is a very true statement. You are always someone's child. Now, yes, you do have to grow up. Absolutely. You do have to accept responsibilities. Absolutely. You do have to be responsible and do all your chores and do all the wonderful things that adults are supposed to do. The next scenario, though, is that, my child is 30 years old and I don't have to take care of them anymore. To the parents that say that about their children, let me just say that is not true. Okay, and let me explain to you this way. I am a royal family member, the first royal family member. If you ever say that you are too old to take care of your child is old enough, they don't need you, that is not true. I don't know where that came from, but it did not come from our family line, and our family line is the one that taught all the rules in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are the ones who taught everybody the rules, the laws. So, all the laws and rules started with me and with my family. So if you're saying your child is too old because they're 20, 30 years old, 40, 50, 60, they are not, because they are still your child. Now, you're responsible for helping them grow and to mature, absolutely, but you're also their parent. You're also always supposed to be there as a friend, if not a parent. You need to be there and support your family. Let's say your child falls and breaks his leg or hip and can't work anymore, and they're 35, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Are you just going to leave them out there on the street? Well, let me tell you something. That's irresponsible of you. You need to be the responsible person to take care of your child. And, you always have to be there for him. A parent, once a parent, always a parent. You brought that child into this world. You are responsible until that child leaves this world. Do you understand me? You are responsible to that till you leave this world. For 100 years, you brought that child into this world. You need to stand by that child's side through thick and thin. Now, granted, you have to give them some space so they grow. You don't want to be overbearing and overshadowing, but you have to be there for them. It's like my father. Okay, he was there for me, and then he backed off a bit. And then he estranged himself because he wanted to see me grow. He felt like he was being too mothering, too nurturing, too softing. And I get it. I understand that. So he wanted to give me some space, so I kind of detached from the maternal womb and the umbilical cord for a while. And so I can grow and sprout my own wings. We'll leave you with that thought for right now. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after these messages. And we're back. Thanks for tuning in to Power Hour with your host, Million Monroe de Clifford Plantagenet. And it did, and it worked, and I grew, and I sprouted my own wings. But he was always there for me, regardless. And then he came back around once I sprouted my wings, and then he was giving me money and supporting me financially and being there as my friend and my father and my dad. And my mom did the same thing. My mom did the exact same thing. So, no matter what age your child is, you are always a parent. They are always your child. And if someone tells you that you're too old to act like this, you're a grown adult, yeah, you are a grown adult, but you still have a parent and you still are someone's child. And that parent needs to take care of you mentally or physically, or at least be there for you. Supportive. Otherwise, you end up like all these homeless people on the streets. God bless their souls, and I love each and every one of them. But otherwise, you end up like them with no support. That's what happens when you have no family support, is they end up on the street because sometimes they get lost, or sometimes something doesn't click. They get lost, they get tricked, they get manipulated by these cults and groups and organizations who are now running the planet, and they get tricked and hurt and injured on the street. And if you're not there to help them, by saying, they're too old to be your child, well, guess what you just did? You just killed your own child. So, that being said, I love all my children. I'm always there for my children, no matter how old I am, or how old they are, or where they are, or where I am. So God bless you guys. Let's stay safe. Love your loved ones, love your family, love your children, and God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. This has been Power Hour. You're tuned in to Power Hour. Million Monroe Plantagenet. Power Hour is brought to you by Million Monroe Entertainment and Marilyn Monroe Family Entertainment Companies in Beverly Hills and Brentwood,